what is your favorite memory in Gander?
So my favorite memory of Gander, I'm 42 years old now, but being a small boy and parking up inside down of James Boulevard and walking the entire street to the airport, just to be able to see, the snowbirds, being out on the runway, seeing the cormorant, the old Labrador helicopters doing their demonstrations. Back then as a boy, it was they were a lot bigger looking than what they are today. But it was to be able to celebrate why the town of Gander was created and why where we are today, and to celebrate the festival of flight and to be able to see that flight and having festivities and food stands and all sorts of little fun activities for the children and for the adults to enjoy, bringing the entire community and surrounding communities together. Geez, I can recall thousands and thousands of people lining the streets up at the airport and around the runways. It was absolutely amazing. I think we should try to get that back again.
I love this question. It's great. My favorite memory, I remember walking by the old Gander Gardens, and I remember seeing a tail of an aircraft peeking above the trees, looking towards the McCurdy building. McCurdy building wasn't there then. My father and I were out walking, and I said to Dad, "Dad, what's that?" I was about 7, I think, or 6. And he said, "That's a Boeing 747. So we got aboard a car. We went up to the airport, and this is going to freak you out. We walked right onto the ramp. There was no fence. Walked right onto the ramp. We're the Boeing 747, and I couldn't believe the massive size of that aircraft. So, right then, I think maybe, if not before, then I was hooked on aviation completely. And what better town to live in aviation? I've served on the NAM board. I still kind of involuntarily volunteer there, volunteer and help out once or twice a year. And I just love everything airplanes. I taught at GFT, and I was around airplanes and pilots all the time, so it was great. So that's my favorite memory, Gander.
So I have a lot of memories from Gander. I'm not originally from Gander, but of course, just like it is today, a lot of the outskirts communities come to Gander. So I've been coming here since I was a very small child. I have memories from staying in the hotel down there to spending time at the lake, Brenner Mall, growing up, coming in, using the schools in here for our cadet program. There was all kinds of different things that I did in Gander. My biggest memory is making my own family here in Gander. And I had the birth of my son down at the hospital. So I'm really, I'm one of those that had an opportunity to use obstetrics down here in a positive manner. I had my family close by. I was in the community. It took me minutes to get to the hospital, and I only had minutes. So it was very, very important for me to have the hospital right there. So again, my family and the birth of my son was definitely my most favorite, but there's many little nooks and crannies of Gander that I appreciate very much.
My favorite memory of Gander, I have so many. I really do, because I spent a lot of time, again, I was 30 years with municipal police, and I was 30 years I was involved in this town. I'm from Gander. I like to consider myself from Gander. So I've had pies thrown in my face, and I've been in the dunk tank, and I've became part of the Biggest Loser. I've done all the things and had fun doing it. It was so great to meet everybody. It was so great to do the things that I was doing and watch this town grow. So one memory, I haven't got one. I got hundreds. And I'll tell you one thing that I really like is that sometimes I'm over town and someone will walk up to me, and it was someone that I coached in basketball 20 years ago, and they're married with kids that are going up through the system now, and they say, I remember when. And of course, my STFD ticket too. I remember that, and the look on the parent's face when the kid came home with it. Because that's how do you with the job that I had and the things that I did, how do you name one thing? Because I was a part of every air show. I was a part of the balloon show. I was part of every festival flight. I was part of everything. And if anybody needed anything or wanted, like a pie slap in the face, I was always chosen. I was even part of the Cops for Cancer. I sat up on the stage and they shaved my head. Now, how much they still got, I think it was $50 for it, so I said it was for each hair.
I thought long and hard about this one. My favorite memory in Gander, because I grew up in Lewisburg. I moved to Gander when I was 24, and I got married and had a child. But my favorite memory is back for the festival flights. My daughter was young. We used to go to Cobb's Pond. We put out our blanket, and we sit down, and we used to buy our little food and little trinkets and stuff there, and be music playing, and we just greet other families we haven't seen people in a while, and you show off your child, and like you just talk about the old-fashioned talking instead of being on your phones is what I like.